Hi, this is Tony Osoba, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's universe here on SUBSPACE Radio, Geekcast Radio Network, Florida Geek Scene, our own website, markwho42.com, and all around the internet thingy. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me today are...
I have vengeance. Excuse me. Eduardo M. Freyre. Sorry, I had something in my throat. Okay.
Sounds like it. We also have...
Vicky Jakubowski.
Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
What's going on?
Nothing new. Same old, kind of like it that way.
Okay. And finally, we have...
Zion Quiros.
Hey, Zion.
Hi.
Getting excited for the show today?
Yes.
All right. Folks, I hope you're excited because our topic, it's not your grandparents' Batman. It's not your parents' Batman. It's not even your siblings' Batman. It's the Batman. Yes, the Batman starring Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And yes, he's the guy from those wonderful movies that I'm not going to even mention.
I haven't been able to sparkle since I was 10 years old.
From Harry Potter. Just remember that. Skip the other stuff.
No, I could have sworn that it was the guy from the Lighthouse, because that was a really good movie. And
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
yeah.
That's not where I was going, but good. Thank you for steering it away from where I didn't want to go. And
I can't sparkle. I lost my parents, so I can't sparkle. I live in darkness.
Okay, folks, we're going to start our review of The Batman with Ed. Ed, you're taking the show, so take it away.
My innocence got taken away when I was a child.
Help.
This city is beyond help. It's a cesspool.
Riddle me this.
Okay.
Please take it away.
Oh yeah, The Batman.
Yeah.
The latest attempt to give the Dark Knight a film. This now, I mean, right off the bat, I don't know if this is like hell, let's just get this out of the way right now. The DCEU is just a mess right now. I mean, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this is not, this is supposed to be its own little thing, separate from what used to be the Snyderverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I heard it.
Could it be a alternate, not an alternate, but another universe, some part
in
of
the multiverse? It's
yeah.
probably, you know what? I have my own
this
little.
Could be Earth 2.
Yeah, well, I have my own little list. Like, I made after the CW, after the Arrowverse stuff did Crisis on Infinite Earths, I kind of made a list of alternate Earths, and I put Pattinson's Batman as being its own thing. So
yeah,
this is my canon. It's probably its own thing. The plot. One thing about the plot is Batman is not, well, I don't want to say rookie, but he is just starting out. Like, he's been around for 2 years.
Yes.
It's year 2 instead of year 0.
Yep. Yeah, it's year 2. So he's been around. And it's enough. He and Gordon already have their thing together. Their friendship. Yeah. The police are aware of him. He's shown up a few times, and the cops have just been like, "WTF, man? What's he doing here?"
Yeah,
and doing here,
the back signal is not on the top of the police department. It's off somewhere in a construction site.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I thought was kind of a nice little variation. I'll say this right now. I didn't hate it.
No.
I liked
it a lot.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I was very happy with it.
Here's my thing. It's like with a but.
Okay.
My review is like with a but. It's a good start. It's a good start if you want to start up a franchise. The thing is that there are a few things that I feel, and we can talk more about this. There are a few things that I feel are kind of at the core of, if you want to tell like a good Batman story, that are not present.
Huh.
I mean, first off, I will say this. I thought Rob Pattinson was a pretty good Batman.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, where it needs work is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
His Bruce, I know that, I read via IMDb that the inspiration for Bruce Wayne was kind of Kurt Cobain.
Yes, Kurt Cobain. That's what I read.
But to me, I just feel like Bruce Wayne works as a character when he has his own kind of identity separate from Batman. That Batman is this, he's got the gravelly voice. He's got the, the presence. Bruce Wayne is somebody that I feel works best when he can be, when he is, this suave, kind of, billionaire playboy.
I don't think he's learned how to do that yet.
I think we're
only in year 2.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, what saves it is the fact that, we do have something. I know that there was a line where he was talking to Alfred, where, which kind of showed off that he has issues, and he's trying to get that groove.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping is that with a sequel that we see that.
Yeah.
That
and the sequel has been greenlit. The sequel has been greenlit.
As of this, I think the sequel's been greenlit. So we do, I hope that one of the things with the sequel is Bruce learning to be Bruce.
Yeah.
That, there's Bruce, there's Batman, and the two have to coexist. Like when he comes into a room, instead of being all mopey, mopey with the hair, that he comes in and basically is like in charge. It's like, hey,
Well, but haven't we really seen that before? I mean, when you think about it, when you think about the Gotham series, when you think about even Christian Bale's version of Batman, he's not suave and debonair in the beginning. He rejects everything. He is a very normal victim of trauma, victim of a crime. You see this in the real world, and he hasn't come into his own. I mean, Christopher Nolan's version of it, he didn't come into his own until basically he went through all of his training, he went through all of his setup, and then he realized he needed an alter ego. And that's where then Bruce Wayne, the way that most people think about Bruce Wayne, comes out.
Yeah.
He's older at that point.
I also noticed because Alfred basically has taken care of Bruce his whole life, that this Batman hasn't gone off and trained with all the different you know how Bruce Wayne supposedly, when he was a teenager, went to
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, right? Thank you, Ra's al Ghul, and
Ra's al Ghul, Henry Ducard, Zatara.
Okay, I wish you guys had cut in a few moments ago, but yes, that's what I meant.
I was enjoying watching you flail.
Thank you.
That was mean.
That was mean. I'm your boss. You don't do that to him.
Yes, you do.
You're right.
That's what you're supposed to do to a boss. You're supposed to watch him.
Okay.
But Ra's al Ghul, Henry. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's good. I actually failed to notice that. He doesn't have. We don't have this thing where he may or may not have trained with like Henry Ducard. There's no mention of Henry Ducard or Zatara or Ra's al Ghul or any Ted Grant, and any of the people that supposedly, any of the people that supposedly, in past Batman have helped, shaped him, they could still be around.
Yeah,
they could still be around. I mean, it does feel like maybe he did not do the world tour, or he did, and it's like, okay, Nolan did the world tour in his movies. Let me do something different, which I can't fault
it's
if
good.
that's the case.
I like the fact that this is different than the other Batmans, because I would be bored if it was the same story. I like the fact that it's a different.
And you know what? The thing that I liked about it also is that while we did have, emo, emo Batman. While we did have that,
you sound like Will Arnett. I'm sorry, you sound like Will Arnett like that. You don't sound like that.
And how do you know that wasn't my like?
That was your Will.
Right,
that was your impression
right.
of Will Arnett doing an impression of Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Trish and I, we have ever since the Lego movie, Trish and I, the way that we make fun of the Batman movies is we do the whole, darkness, no parents, super rich, kind of makes it better. Which I don't know, with the rocker look that Bruce Wayne has, I would say that's probably even more appropriate now than it is before. But yeah, the thing I do like though is they did something with this movie that I feel hasn't been done in recent adaptations, which is it brought up, now while we still have the emo thing, while we still have that, the thing I do like is that it brought back one of the nicknames that I feel that Batman hasn't been able to do recently.
The world's greatest detective,
which is he's the Dark Knight detective. He detected.
That was wonderful.
It was nice to see him detecting.
Look, this is what I've always wanted, right? A detective movie instead of like a guy just beating up people.
Yeah.
Right?
Although we did have the beating thing.
But I have a question for you guys. Do you feel like that he came across these riddles a bit too quick? Because
it's only a 2 hour movie. 2.5 hour movie.
No, it's not a 2.5 hours. It's 3 hours.
It's
2 hours and 53
minutes. 56 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
You still can't have him detect very quick and very slowly.
But the whole point of the movie is that this is the beginning of Batman. I can't expect Batman at the very beginning of this to be Superman in brains and be like, boom. Okay, he
you got a point.
Yeah.
But although this is it is a small thing because like we're dealing with the Riddler because he has to think quick. But like I just felt like it'd be nice to see him and get stumped and like have to process something for like a little minute instead of just saying it right then and there just to get the plot going.
Yeah. Well, and then not to mention make the Gotham City Police look like
idiots.
Yeah, basically.
No, I love the fact that Batman, with the riddles that the Riddler was sending, that Batman was able to come up with the answers. Like, I know he did them quickly, because that feels like the comic. Batman always figured it out quickly.
Well, not to mention that's also something that's been around for a while now, which is that Batman is this uber genius, and it's like, oh, if somebody needs to come up with a plan, Batman needs to come up with a plan. If Batman's not there, it's like, oh no, how is the Justice League gonna win if there's no Batman? And then it's like, Superman has brains too. They do, so does Wonder Woman, so does Martian Manhunter. It's like, Barry Allen's a freaking police scientist, but oh no, they're not going to be able to defeat Amazo if Batman isn't around to be like, I think I figured it out.
Well, I think you see that in some of the dark murder mysteries of the 30s and the 40s. And you always have at least one character that has to be smart, that has to be able to see things that other people don't. It's kind of like the Miss Marple of comic books. It just figures things out like that,
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the actual acting of detecting, the actual putting together clues, looking at stuff, and the support of Alfred in that was really nicely done. Somebody who has a code breaking background, and it's like, well, let's do this and let's do that, and then Batman goes, well, let's look at it this way, and oh, look, here's the clue.
Yep, and then
that was cool.
Yeah, and by the way, this movie needed more Alfred.
Yes,
this movie needed
that would be my biggest
more
complaint.
Alfred.
And I thought Andy Serkis did a great job.
Oh yeah, and it's
I want to see him 58 more times like this.
Oh yeah, because it's one of those things. I mean, here's the thing: if we had more Alfred and less of the maid, whatever her name was, Miss Henderson, Doris, I don't know,
Anne Harriet. No, just kidding.
It's like no, we don't need more Anne Harriet. Like we don't need another Anne Harriet. It's like no, we don't need her.
No.
Let's have where's come on, let's have just more of this.
It was a testosterone heavy. Yeah. Okay, they needed a little female in there somewhere.
Oh god, but I mean honestly, like the most impact that she had in the film was answering the phone when Bruce is having a panic attack because there's a apparently he got sent a bomb. Yeah. And he wasn't there, but it's like this needed more Alfred, especially like an Alfred that is a bit more of an active participant in helping the Batman.
Yeah.
Than simply maybe dusting the shelves and being like, so sir, are you going to show yourself off as being normal today, or it's like, Alfred, I have a mission. It's like, yes, but you also have the Wayne Foundation. It's like.
I have to say that in the very few lines he had, he really shows the ability of an extremely good actor that with very few lines, when you think about it, he got so much across. He was so impactful. And everyone I've talked to who's actually seen it has said, oh my God, wasn't he fabulous?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't we have more? So in a very short period of time, he won just about everybody over.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And by the way, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh my God, Jeffrey!
Because of course I know the haters on the internet were just like, oh, like Jeffrey Wright. No,
Jeffrey Wright was perfect.
He was perfect. The way that Jeffrey Wright and like Rob Pattinson gelled, it was just perfect. This is the Gordon and Bruce that we know and love. It's
right.
The two of them just, and even Gordon just being like, when guys are griping about Batman running around the crime scene, he's just like,
right,
leave it, or telling him, come on, we gotta, we gotta go. Of course, I also love that. I think his name was Martinez.
Right.
That Gotham, that Gotham City cop. I mean, yeah, okay, we don't have Bullock yet, we don't have Montoya, but still, it's kind of cool to have like a cop that's just like, oh, okay, this is happening. He's tearing apart the carpet. Okay, all right, fine. I love that. I think it's that cop Martinez that we just have a guy who's just like sitting there like, okay, this is happening. Like when Batman discovers the thing under Riddler's carpet, and he's just like, oh, okay, he's ripping the carpet. he just kind of has to like shrug his shoulders and be like, oh, okay, he's ripping up the carpet. All right, we're ripping up this is happening. He's just ripping up the carpet. What am I going to do?
Question. How do you guys feel about this version of the Batsuit?
Of what?
Of the Batsuit.
Batsuit. A little bulkier than I imagine. I mean, it was kind of weird having him lumber into a scene.
Yeah, it really was like
it was just
we are used to having this man sneak up and sneak out at a drop of a hat. Yeah. But this man walks in like an RTD Cyberman with
yeah, but I think that was on purpose.
Yes, it was.
Especially in that opening scene. It felt like it was very much on purpose.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, are we ever going to get navy blue on this suit for once? Because I understand that we can get gray and black and gray and black and gray and black and gray and black.
Because blue does not actually camouflage very well in the dark.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get navy blue. I mean, we may. Okay, if we get navy blue, it won't be in live action. because I think that ever since the Burton Batman films, navy blue is no longer
allowed.
Well, not allowed, but no longer in style. Like there's this idea of, if Batman's going to exist in if Batman's going to exist in a live action format, the navy blue is not going to cut it.
Now, I will say that I think that the costume works, especially because we're looking at, this is still early in Batman's career. He has not perfected it. We don't have Lucius Fox. So, it looks like he hodgepodged a costume together that works very well for him. And it is not sleek. It is not perfect. It is not skin tight. And that's okay. He's coming out as a soldier. One of the things I loved about this movie was simply the fact that it felt real and relevant and present today. And not just today, but that's one of the things that I like about the style, and I like about some of the comic influences that are on this, that you've got a moment where it's Batman today in Gotham City, New York City. What would he look like? What would he do? What would he be fighting? What would he be struggling with? And I appreciated that odd little realism that was in there.
Well, I will say this one thing that is a positive about the bat suit this time around. He's not wearing hockey pants. I had to do that once we start talking about the costume. I had to.
It wasn't some of the sad qualities of some of the Batman suits we've seen in some of the years. I think that maybe also why I like it, that it harkens more towards Tim Burton's and Christopher Nolan's, and leaves behind, as you guys know how much I love the 60s Batman series.
Yeah.
I really don't ever want to see that costume on the big screen again. Saw it when I was a kid. That was good enough. It just looks wrong. And it doesn't look like he could be a stealthy crime fighter.
No.
So just saying.
But then his Batman can dance.
Yeah. Okay. We took a pause here, folks, because we had no idea where he was going or why he was going or who he was doing.
Why doesn't this Batman dance?
Had a moment
anymore?
there.
The Batusi.
No dancing. No dancing. Oh my God. No
dancing.
Why did they do the Batusi in Pulp Fiction? I'm just saying
it's Tarantino.
Well, it's actually based on the Watusi.
There you go.
Which was a real dance in the 60s.
Right. Okay.
And then, but if you do it with a bat cowl, it becomes the Batusi. So, you know, that was definitely a little.
The more you know.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Oh
no, G.I.
Joe. No. Well, I mean, come on. What did you guys think about the realism? I mean, I love that aspect of it. I thought the character was more real. The costumes more real. There were some things that are beyond, reality, but still, I mean, wasn't that? What did you think, guys?
I love the grittiness.
Well, the costume. I mean, I see what you're saying. That it is, since we do have Bruce, kind of prototyping it as Batman, that there are certain aspects that it's like, okay, he's not the stealth guy right now. It's more, intimidating the living daylights out of the criminals. So they hear all the thumping, and he just lumbers out. That they'll just be like, oh hell, well, my day is ruined. I'm about to get some broken bones.
Yeah.
But it would be
he's
interesting.
Ready for it. He knows he could.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of those things where, again, it would be interesting in a sequel to have Bruce working the whole angle of, okay, I need to refine this, maybe focus more on stealth than on brute force.
You know, I got to stop here. We're going to try to refine what we're doing, just like Batman. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll have more of The Batman here on Mark Who 42's Universe.
We'll be back with more of Mark Who 42's Universe.
By the power of Grayskull, I command the jaw bridge. Open!
The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of all 4 Masters of the Universe cartoons. Join Optimus Solo and myself, TF2 and Mike, as we tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally Masters of Grayskull. We'll have a commentary on the Secret of the Sword film, and a few other special episodes. You can find this 125-episode-long podcast in iTunes and on the web at geekcastradio.com. By the power and honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything exciting.
You are listening to Mark Who 42's Universe.
No. Batman. Oh, folks, we're back. I'm sorry. We're here.
No, you're
Mark
not.
Who...
You're never sorry.
You're right. I'm not sorry.
You're never sorry.
No,
don't do that. Don't fake apologize. These poor people, they don't need your fake apologies.
Well, you're back. We're back with Mark Who 42's Universe here on Subspace Radio, Geekcast Radio Network, Florida Geek Scene, our homepage, markwho42.com, and all around the interweb thingy. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today are Eduardo M. Freyre, Vicky Jakubowski, and Zion Quiros. And like that little thing I did at the very beginning, we're talking The Batman. Yes, this movie that came out, was it 2 months ago now? Because it's May. Was really spectacular in my opinion, but we're going to let Ed take it. Ed, can you give us the Riddler's motivation? Because we've been...
The Riddler, yeah. Well, first, yeah. I mean, one thing I got to say is that I remember back with the Nolan movies, I thought it would be cool to use Riddler and use him kind of like an evil version of Russell Crowe from A Beautiful Mind. As just somebody who pulls all these connections, somebody who like just sees all these connections and is just trying to like connect the dots and all that jazz.
Right.
What I like about this is, okay, it's not quite what I was thinking, but it's still really cool to kind of see a Riddler who, was trying to dig into, he was trying to get his hands dirty and dig into, Gotham's underbelly and just all the secrets that are lying beneath.
Yeah.
I gotta say the look was kind of weird. The whole mask and the whole kind of weird, almost gimpy mask and that kind of thing. But I kind of like what Matt Reeves went for. I don't know if I would, he kind of made him. I know that the inspiration was like the Zodiac Killer or something like that.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that it absolutely just screamed the Zodiac Killer, and I thought that was really nice. Again, bringing it into the real world. How do real serial mass killers act? Yeah. And I kind of really enjoyed that aspect too.
Yeah, and I did like that his motivation. That we kind of had this weird motivation where he wanted to be Batman's partner. He wanted to he actually was simpatico with what Batman was doing.
Yeah.
It's just the way he went about it was not what Batman would have done.
Right.
Like when they confront each other in jail, like at the end, and Batman is just like, nope, you cuckoo. His anguish,
and then of course
told Batman just how much because he was doubting, was he making a difference, was what he was doing, was that important enough? And there was that questioning going on, and then he sees the opposite side of his coin, and that's the Riddler, and it's like, oh no, I'm not that bad. I'm not crazy. Okay, let's go back and do the good. So
yep, exactly. I thought it was interesting doing the Penguin. I like that they decided to touch the more recent portrayal of the Penguin as kind of being more of a crime boss, more of a this guy who just, instead of like having bird themed crimes, that we have the Iceberg Lounge and he's just kind of the guy who everybody goes to. That part I did like. I did like.
I'm sorry, but when I first saw the Penguin, because I tried really hard to stay away from too much information beforehand, and I'd heard months ago that Colin Farrell was going to be the Penguin, but when he first popped up on the screen, my first thought is, oh my God, it's Robert Duvall. Now he's too old to play this. And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh my God, that's right. I am amazed. I do not give that man enough credit for his acting ability.
Oh yeah.
The prosthetics helped, but he did an amazing job of channeling someone who was so not him.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I was impressed with all the acting in this.
Definitely.
I mean, they had some massively good actors who did a really good job with a really good script.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I don't think I was even expecting to like this at all. And I was very pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah, no, I have to admit, I went in with not low expectations, but not high ones, because it feels like we go through the same motions like Batman's characterization is now locked into like it's always going to be this. So I'm just like, okay, like, because like I remember with the previews for the film that one of the scenes they harped on, one of the scenes that they focused on was Batman just giving a beat down to this one, to this one crook. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh geez, all right, same old crud again.
Now talk.
Yeah.
Breaks arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Now talk.
And we had some of that, but we also had some other stuff. So I'm like, okay, all right.
I feel like we saw him evolve in this movie, where, from the first scene, he's a little bit more like a thug and less like a superhero, to where we get to the end and he's saving all the people in the Superdome type place as the seawall is falling in. I mean, I'm sorry, talking about an allegory going on, and seeing him walk them out, that scene with the flares walking those people out was so inspiring and so, oh my God, this is why I love comic books.
Here's the thing, because it's like, I have to admit, they kind of ended things a little early.
Yeah.
In the sense that Riddler was caught like so early, and then they had so much to go.
But the Riddler wanted to be caught. It was his desire. Yeah, he thought then he and Batman could go and kill everybody.
Yeah, and they could be simpatico, and he could be like, "I'm your biggest fan," and Batman's just like, "You're Looney Tunes." Yeah, but yeah, that scene though. I mean, the ending kind of lurched, but that scene where he has the flares and he leads people out, it's like, wow, this is Batman actually like doing something. Being the hero instead of just he's the hero because the guy who he put like in the hospital is a bad guy, that kind of thing. I mean, we need kind of more of that, maybe Batman, like again in the sequel, Batman, maybe he's beating somebody up because they kidnapped a child, and what does he do? He takes a child and he's like, "You're going home now." Just like something like that. Like, come on, more of that. More of that. And
let me be honest, I fell asleep before that part even came on.
Wow!
Oh.
And I saw it in theaters.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's because it was bad, but because it was too long. A 3-hour detective movie for Batman's too long, guys.
Yeah, you know what? Zion, believe it or not, while I like this movie, I agree with you in the sense that, guys, if we're going, like, we don't need to have an almost 3-hour long slog.
Yeah,
we can have
Batman looking at corners.
Yeah, Ed,
right?
You had warned me about this movie. You said that when I was going to see it, you said, "Oh, it drags near the end. Yeah. It's 3 hours long, whatever." And then you said this to me. You said, "It's it's kind of like the Zack Snyder's Justice League cut." And then I told you, but I loved that, and I loved the length of that. So I was going into seeing the Batman fine with the length.
Okay.
And after
I had no problem
I was
with
fine
the
with
length.
it.
Well, but I also grew up with a lot of longer movies, foreign films, some of the films from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
And so for me, when it was over, I was like, wow, was that really only 3 hours?
Aren't the Star
so
Wars
I may be the
movies-
only one who feels that way, but
Yeah.
for me, I was like, and now I want more.
Aren't the Star Wars movies like 2.5 hours?
They're about
They vary.
and
They vary,
17 minutes
yeah.
on average, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, they vary. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
the
you're
length,
right,
the
old
length. I mean, it
movies,
could be.
Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind is excruciatingly long, yet it's great.
It's almost 5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, here's the well,
I
but
still fall asleep on that too. It's
well,
too
but
long.
but on the other hand, the thing for me with Gone with the Wind is I hate Gone with the Wind.
Oh, okay.
You know, honestly, I do not sympathize with Scarlett O'Hara. I'm
Right.
like, you know what?
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I'm basically saying, you know what? You are, you know, you're all about a system that
Yes,
is
I'd
based
rather
off
identify with Melanie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
yeah, no,
here we go.
I don't identify. And when she's like, tomorrow is another day. You know, what I want to say
She
is yeah,
written
and I'm
better. The
trying
book
to,
is
you know,
significantly better. Victor Fleming didn't like women, and it was very apparent, and he
Well,
switched a few things.
all I
Okay,
gotta say
have
is
a
that
better-
yeah,
then I
I'm
have
not-
another movie. I have another movie to throw out. Then
Okay.
The Godfather.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
all
a
right.
long,
All right.
kick-ass movie.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's on another echelon of quality. The first one, at least.
see,
That's
but
just
I
me.
would say this one was so similar to The Godfather in so many ways. I felt
Yeah.
Godfather and Chinatown, and
Yeah.
In
the
Chinatown,
Maltese
right?
Falcon. I
Yeah.
felt
How long
in
was
there.
French Connection? French Connection was pretty
ooh,
I
long.
can't
I don't
remember.
remember. I think
That was
that
kind of
was
long.
that
It
was
was
a
over
long
2
movie.
hours. That was
Well,
over
and
2
also,
hours.
well, actually, oh God, I think actually, French Connection. I don't, and then in some cases, it's not that the movie's long.
Mhm.
It's that it's that it's like it's less about that, more about a pacing thing.
Right. Oh,
That it's
okay.
about, you know, that it's not that the movie's long. It's that they're pacing themselves out, and it feels like there's actually being long,
Mhm.
and there is
Feeling long.
feeling long, right?
Okay, and what do you think The Batman was? Was it really long, or did it feel very long?
The
Ooh.
content
Now that you brought
made
that
me
up.
feel that it was long, because like depending on the person you are, like I could sit down and watch this for like 2.5 hours because I like the dialogue, but someone else could just want something like Christopher Nolan's Batman, and this movie's too long for them for that reason.
By the way, and by the way,
Uh-huh.
The French Connection is 104 minutes.
Oh, not that long.
So
Okay.
a little
I was
over
wrong.
an hour and a half.
It feels
just
longer.
might-
It
yeah,
feels
exactly.
longer.
Exactly.
The chase sequence, no, the car chase, the car scene, that feels like 30 minutes, and it's amazing.
But then again, also
it was all the movie. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
basically, but then again, the car chase. But then here's the other thing, because the car chase feels long, but it's also incredibly iconic.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's, you know, it was this very high tension, very, very kind of, like you're on the edge of your seat during that car chase.
Yes, you are.
It's not like,
But you don't think in the Batman you were on the edge of your seat?
Well, there were some in some
scenes
cases,
were.
yes. In some cases, yeah. In some cases, yes. In other cases,
The Batman chasing the Penguin.
yes.
That
Yes, that's the thing.
sequence
Yeah.
That was the peak.
That was phenomenal.
That was an amazing shot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Speaking of which, how do you guys feel about the Batmobile?
Okay,
like it.
Oh, that
it's
was
I like
2
it.
years in. He doesn't have a superb mobile, but it was decent.
Oh, will you?
No, it was no Adam West Batmobile. It was no Christopher Nolan Batmobile.
You know what? No, but it did feel like a nice little. It felt like something out of the comics.
Okay.
It felt like something out of comics, and it was nice to get away from the, we need to, because we're trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
This needs to be, this needs to be, this needs to be this tank that was supposed to be used in Iraq, but for whatever reason it didn't work.
Okay.
So,
all I remember of the Batmobile in this movie is it looked like a regular car.
Yep.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. It looks like he hasn't figured it out yet, that he's still working on it.
Oh, and by the way,
because it looked like a regular car.
And by the by,
Uh-huh.
while we're on the subject, we're talking about movie lengths.
Mm-hmm.
The original Star Wars, the first movie, Star Wars, now known as Episode 4, blah 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 blah, clocks in at 121 minutes. So
2 hours.
2 hours.
Go
approximately
into
2
Empire
hours.
Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Okay, Empire Strikes Back. Looking at that.
150.
Hang on, let's see. Hang on, because it clocks in at 124 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. Let's go with
I remember them differently then.
Well, again, because there's actually being long and feeling long.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi clocks in. Okay, Return of the Jedi is the longest of the three, clocking in at 132 minutes.
Wow.
So
okay.
a little
I
over,
remember sitting there
over
for
2 hours.
2.5 hours. I remember sitting in a movie for 2 hours and 40 minutes approximately.
Well, there was probably a lot of coming attractions and cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that when I was a kid.
There was, don't forget you had.
Wasn't before Star Wars. There was the Duck Dodgers, or no.
They were supposed to do.
They were supposed to, but they didn't. You're right.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget, we also have because don't forget, you have the previews, coming attractions. You have the Let's all go to the lobby.
Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby. Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a treat.
And you realize now our listeners are like, oh,
how old are you
now
people?
How do we get this?
Well, and they're also like, I gotta go to the fridge.
Well, right. You went to the lobby. You got your fridge, and you got.
They're gonna go to the fridge. They're gonna go to the fridge. They're like, okay, now I'm hungry. Now these guys have made me hungry. What's in the fridge?
Right. Okay. You know who we haven't discussed yet? Well, two people we haven't discussed, but I think we can save one of them for the extra innings. Let's talk about Catwoman.
Oh
my God, I love her.
Zoe
she
Kravitz.
Is the spiritual successor to Eartha Kitt. She just absolutely, positively, everything she did, I was like, yes, this is my Catwoman.
I enjoy. I was like walking into sitting down to watch it on HBO Max, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this Catwoman. But I did. Selina Kyle kicked ass.
I was neutral because I don't really like Catwoman like that in Batman stories. But that's just me. Yeah, so I'm just
it's okay.
Neutral.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just neutral.
Yeah, honestly, I liked Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I have to admit the mask that she wore was kind of weird. But
you know what it made me think about?
What?
It made me think about the protest, the women's rights protest that we had a few years ago, except that they were pink. That image may conjure something to you. If you weren't involved, you might not know about it, but it was what we were wearing, and it was very much similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also new at this. She's defending her friends and the world and in her own little way. And I don't know, there was just something that, again, it felt so real to me. She felt like somebody who was giving a voice to the voiceless.
Yeah.
Her concern with her friend, what did she call her? Annie?
Annika, was it?
Annika.
I think it was something like that. Yeah. It just really resonated with me, probably because of what I do. But I just love the fact that she was out there. Yes, she was collecting money, but she was also kicking the butts of the bad guys at the same time, and she had no love lost with her father, which I very much appreciated.
Which, by the way, I gotta say,
I was gonna bring that up in the extra,
the whole,
go ahead.
Well, the whole thing with Carmine Falcone being Catwoman's dad. I know that was used as a plot point in the comics. The Long Halloween. Yeah. The Long Halloween. I know in the Long Halloween, and its sequels. Now, I think it ended up being debunked.
Right.
But the fact is that that did come from the comics, and I like that. The other thing that actually came from the comics that I like with Falcone is that they took a page from the Long Halloween with that story about how Falcone was treated by Thomas Wayne in Wayne Manor.
Comic, yeah.
I mean, okay, slight change though, because in the comics it was Alberto Falcone, not Carmine. But it was still that same thing, that there's a connection between the Falcones and the Waynes. Not so much that like they're buddy, but that, they shared this moment, which I thought was, I thought was cool.
Storyline goes back to many of the film noirs of the 30s and 40s. Not to mention, you could go all the way back to Dr. Mudd and a certain assassin by the name of a Booth. But
long time here.
It's a plot point that has actually existed, and it actually goes back into mythology, where someone may or may not be innocent, who is forced to, or may or may not be forced to take care of somebody who is clearly a bad guy. Yeah. And what that repercussions is, and then it makes you start to doubt the person that you thought was pure of heart previously. That is a great storyline.
Well, and then it's also, because I know that in Long Halloween, that it's used, young Bruce kind of sees it as a moment of like, wow, this is this is kind of like, holy cow, this is what my dad does for a living, and he's in awe of his dad. So I mean, it works on like a lot of levels.
Yeah.
But I did notice one of the things that I noticed, I didn't think anything of it, but then when we read the trivia for it, I was like, Falcone, we never see Falcone's eyes.
Right.
He's always wearing he's always wearing the sunglasses. And according to IMDb, that was something that John Turturro picked.
Yeah.
Because what he wanted Falcone to have his own kind of quote unquote mask.
Yes.
So
yes. I saw that.
I'm here.
That's
I'm like,
a nice touch.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, that is. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that is a nice touch. That is kind of cool to give, Falcone like his own little mask of sorts. I like Falcone because it was one of those things. What I like is that he had an understated menace.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy who has his fingers in every single pie and is probably like, if chances are, if the Riddler hadn't shot him, then the next day he would have been out on bail, and who knows how that trial would have been.
Right.
So it's like, but he's not snarling. He wasn't snarling like the Falcone that we got in Batman Begins. He's charm. He's got a charm, and he'll just do this slick smile and go, all right, you really want to do this? Okay, we can do this.
When you think about an effective crime boss, he has to both elicit fear and charm.
Right.
And I gotta say, he did it extremely well.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody wanted to cross him. Nobody wanted to piss him off.
Yep.
But at the same time, it just, when you look at his interactions with Selina, and you look at that dynamic of, does he know, does he not know? Is it real? Is it not real? And, which way does it go? But
and there's also, by the way, there's a deleted scene. I saw this in a YouTube video.
They showed the deleted scene on HBO Max.
Well, they have a deleted scene where Selina does talk about wanting to go into the underground part.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
The underground.
Tell me about it.
And Carmine is just like, no, I don't want you down there. That's that's not a place for you.
The deleted scene that I saw was Batman goes to visit the Joker to get a profile of the Riddler.
I heard about that one. I haven't seen it yet.
It's HBO Max and the extras. It's there. Okay.
Wow. I do have to say though, I think I'm glad that they cut it out.
Me too.
Because the
reveal at the end
saving,
was so much
the reveal,
stronger.
the reveal, Joker talking with Riddler at the end, that works so much better.
Yes.
And I actually heard, so supposedly Matt Reeves has said this was not, that scene was not to set, this was not done so that Matt Reeves is saying, hey kids, we're getting Joker next time.
Right.
It's just kind of showing that the Gotham transforming into like, this haven of the weird, it's not coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's already here.
Right.
That's why. And to be honest, I love that decision. One thing I want to use this as a segue. I want to use this as a segue because I want to talk about what we all would want for a sequel.
Okay.
Ooh.
To me, I would love it if for the Batman 2 or, whatever they want to call the Batman sequel, how I, the Batman or how I learned to stop worrying and defend Gotham City and smile while doing it.
That's good.
Whatever the sequel is, I would love if
Kubrick will direct it. Yeah.
If they do the Joker,
yeah,
that again, instead of him being the central threat, the central menace, that he's just simply around, that he is have him not as the threat, have him not as the threat, but as the Greek chorus.
Okay.
That basically, like, whoever Batman is whoever Batman's fighting, you have a news report about it. The Joker's watching it in Arkham, and he's just like, "Oh, this is interesting," just kind of chatting with it. I will say, as far as villains are concerned, I dare Matt Reeves or whoever takes the director's chair. You know what? Let's go weird. I know that the idea. Okay, here's the thing. I know the idea is, let's keep it real. Batman's so grounded. I say to hell with that.
Thank you.
Let's bring back Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Let's do a Mr. Freeze that's not like,
who would play him?
Oh man, you need Jesus. I don't know who I'd
do we
get.
go more towards the scientists?
Yes, go towards the
scientist
angle.
Schwarzenegger. We can bring back
Schwarzenegger.
You shush. You shush. No, we are not bringing back.
Well, he did say I'll be back.
Oh my God! You be quiet. You be quiet. You be quiet. No, what I'm thinking is, lean towards the scientist angle. Make this guy. I mean, okay. Look, what do you do? How do you get Mr. Freeze? You go to Batman the Animated Series. Look at Michael Ansara as Mr. Freeze. That is what you do. This guy who has just been totally frozen out of emotion. This guy who's just totally, he's as cold as his freaking freeze gun. That kind of thing. The type of person that, somebody's just like, "Oh, don't use the freeze gun. My baby's in there." And, he'll just look and be like, "As always in tragedy, it's the children who suffer," or something like that. The other one I would say is Clayface.
I was thinking Clayface.
Let's do Clayface. Do kind of and again use Batman the Animated Series as inspiration. Have this whole and have that have this whole thing. Yes, Man-Bat, freaking Man-Bat.
Okay.
Let's use that. Like, just go like, you don't have to be sitting there and going, "Oh well, what realistic supervillain do we pull out for Batman?" The hell with that. I mean, the closest I would get to wanting a realistic supervillain for a Batman sequel, let's have Firefly. Let's have Firefly. Give him the dang jetpack. Okay, give him the jetpack and the wings.
Okay, we're going to give him the jetpack and the wings, but we've got to go. Here on Subspace Radio, thank you for listening to our review on The Batman. If you want to hear more of this show, go to the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast, where we will talk more about this. You can find it on FloridaGeekScene.com, Geekcast Radio Network, our website, MarkWho42.com, and all around the interweb thingy like Apple iTunes and Google Play and all the other podcast platforms, the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast. Until then, this is Mark, just in case you're leaving, this is Mark Baumgarten, Eduardo M. Freyre, Vicky Jakubowski, and Zion Quiros saying so long. But if you're sticking around, we'll be right back.
We'll be back with more of Mark Who 42's Universe.
Pixels in the Animation is the Geekcast Radio Network's video game cartoon review show. We are covering every episode of 9 different video game cartoons. Join TV's Mr. Neal and myself, TFG and Mike, as we trek through multiple Mario tunes, Zelda, Captain N, Mega Man, Sonic, and we are also driving through Donkey Kong Country. Pixels in the Animation is 100 episodes of video game cartoon goodness, so tune in to help us find the Pixels in the Animation, which you can find every Wednesday on iTunes and www.geekcastradio.com.
hit the extra innings here on the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today are Eduardo M. Freyre, Vicky Jakubowski, and Zion Quiros. If you've been listening to our show, which I hope you have been, today's episode has been a review of The Batman, where we've been talking about different things that have happened, our opinions and such. Ed, take her away.
Okay. I know right before we went into extra innings, we were talking about villains to use in a sequel. Mm-hmm. Another one I thought of.
Okay.
Ventriloquist.
Oh. Yeah.
Use the ventriloquist.
Who would play him?
Okay. You're gonna think I'm insane.
I do already, so it doesn't matter.
But I think,
what's the difference?
But I think as far as his human side, as far as Arnold himself, okay, again, you're gonna think I'm insane, but hear me out.
Okay.
Jason Alexander.
Yes, I see it.
Jason Alexander.
I totally see it.
And then for the ventriloquist dummy, get I would say get like Billy West or something. Get like a voice actor.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Okay, that's not horrible.
That's not horrible. We don't think you're insane on this one. We
okay,
think
yeah,
you're insane
no,
on other things, but that's besides the point.
Well, and don't forget, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Well, I think that we will see more of the Penguin. Let's be honest.
Yes.
The Penguin has to come back,
but you know what?
He's now kind of on top.
Well, and again, but not so much as like the bad guy for this, but more as like a less of like, oh, he's the bad guy, and more like he is, you know, the guy that more that like he is less the bad guy, more like just again like if Batman needs a thorn in the side, or at least something, you know, somebody who has his finger on the pulse, you know, like something's going on, Batman can like drop in on his office and you know, and you know, the Penguin could just be like, oh, it's you again. You want me to give you a booth with your name on it down in the club? We can do that instead of this, you know, like just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not, you know, not a villain per se, but more like just, you know, he knows what's going on. So Batman goes over and it's like, I heard you took a shipment of this, you know, I heard you took a shipment of napalm to Garfield Lynch. And, you know, and then Penguin's just like, I run a business. Do I look like a secretary? You see a filing cabinet right there with a whole bunch of little folders. That's not me. You know, just like right there, you know, yeah, something like that. Oh man, but yeah, just dude.
It's hard because we have a few characters that we've seen a lot. And I'm going to be honest that Heath Ledger's Joker was so well done.
Yeah.
That I would hate to try and follow that footsteps without having it be kind of a different story, or you know, we've had Joker on the sidelines. He's still there. He's still part of the world, but he's not the big baddie. And I think that you're right that making him the single big baddie in a sequel is probably going to be difficult.
I would say,
I just wouldn't want to as an actor to follow.
Yeah, no,
that.
and then plus I think it's just that there are so many characters that you can use.
There is.
That why just go through the old familiar? Or at least if you're going to use Joker, like I said, use him more as a chorus type of character, as as somebody who just kind of watches everything and just
I told you this was coming.
Yep. Or it's just like, you know, they don't see it coming, but I saw it. You know, maybe turning to Riddler and just being like, what riddled me this? Didn't I tell you?
Right.
You know, kind of like that.
Either that, or you could just have a movie where it's implied that this is well within their history. So it's not an introduction movie like how The Dark Knight was, where this is the first appearance of the Joker, and hey, I poisoned the water hole.
Yep.
Like
definitely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you
no.
So like you could just bounce off their dynamic, and like it's been like X amount of years, like Optimus Prime and Megatron, and we've been at this like the end of the Killing Joke a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have a question.
Yes.
The actor who played the Joker was he in the Eternals?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Okay. Thought I recognized him under all that makeup. I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Well, and then I love the fact that they base him on the original basis of the Joker, which was the German expressionistic film.
Caligari?
No,
Cabinet of Dr.
But it's the
Caligari?
same guy who did it. And
okay.
The same actor was in both. But no, it's The Man Who Laughed.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
And ironically, Conrad's last film was Casablanca, where he played the Nazi. So, and then he died of a heart attack shortly thereafterwards.
See, kids, don't play Nazis.
No.
But okay. So here, another villain that I think would be perfect, and they've never been used before.
Okay.
They've never been used before, but I think it would be perfect. It would be perfect to adapt this story. Has anybody here ever heard of a Batman villain called Wraith?
Yes.
Wraith.
I don't recall.
Okay. For those who don't know, there was a story I want to say it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
There was a story that introduced this character called Wraith, who was like an anti-Batman. Like his costume was very much like Batman. His, his modus operandi was very much like Batman, except he used a gun. We find out later that, and we actually find out that they have parallels because Wraith's parents died. Wraith's parents were killed. We find out that they were actually killed the same night as the Waynes.
Oh, that's freaky.
And then the story goes even further that how did they die? It turns out that they were, instead of this upstanding family, Gotham family,
right.
The parents were a couple of crooks. And they died. They died when they got, when a cop found them and shot them. We then get the big twist because Wraith tries to go after Commissioner Gordon. Batman stops him. We find out who was it that killed Wraith's parents. It was a beat cop named James Gordon.
Oh wow!
Like that was the twist.
Interesting.
That was the twist. It was like, it was James Gordon who killed them. Wraith only lasted the one issue. He was, he ended up getting killed off. But still, just the fact that, how about because I know they try to make
they did that a little bit with the Riddler, and there's a lot of connections. Well, maybe more with Bruce Wayne than the Batman per se, although he didn't seem to. I could not determine whether or not he knew Batman was Bruce Wayne or not, or if he in himself he had not reconciled the two. But because I know in some of the comics he knew that Batman was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But it just the parallels that they put up there, down to even the way that the face mask is constructed. I mean, it's done with duct tape as opposed to slightly better materials that Bruce Wayne had at hand. It's the way someone like me would throw it together versus somebody with money.
Yeah.
But it very well, I mean, the connection between the two sides of the coin again, I felt like it came up multiple times, and I actually enjoyed that because I love seeing internal struggles and going to external struggles, and again it goes down to that's very real for me, and very enjoyable watching for me that dichotomy.
Yeah, no, and it just but yeah,
it's a shame we only had Wraith once. Sounds like an interesting character.
But it also the cool thing is that this is a character that, since we only had him once, I don't want to say he's a blank slate, but there's more you could do with him.
Yes.
I know that I think Rob Pattinson and Matt Reeves has said they want to use the Court of Owls.
Right.
But think about it this way. Imagine if you combine the two. You have the Court of Owls.
You could definitely do that.
What do they do? What does the Court of Owls do? It's okay, let's give Batman a challenge. So they take this poor kid, who has similar circumstances, and they shape him into, this would have been our Batman.
You mean instead of Dick Grayson?
Well,
from the part of the Nightwing storyline was that he got involved with the book of with
the Court of Owls. No. Take the character of Wraith, connect him to the Court of Owls.
Right. And if you're molding him into Batman, that's kind of well, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, have the Court of Owls being like, oh, this this whole idea of a Batman, that could act. This could help the city, but he needs to be in a way that we approve of. And then they find Wraith, and it's like, oh, okay, this is how we do it.
They'd have to rush that movie. They'd have to condense. That just seems like longer than a 2 hour and 50-minute movie.
It's possible. It is possible. It is possible. I mean, you can do it. You can do it where it could be. It doesn't have to be 3 hours. You don't have to take 3 hours to talk about that.
Just to confirm, this is in its own universe, right, and not connected to the other DC.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
Okay, so then the dream scenario of the Superman Batman buddy cop movie will forever be dead.
Well, no, the DCEU still exists. The DCEU still exists. You've got Black Adam coming out. You got the Flash.
Yeah.
So it's still
the Flash. I mean,
I know.
It's got its issues right now.
It definitely has issues. But it's interesting that this movie was originally supposed to star and be directed by Ben Affleck.
Well, and it was going to be an entirely different plot.
Well, different story.
Because
he's on the opposite end of the age spectrum.
Yeah. Well, also it was going to be an entirely different story. It was going to connect to the scene that we saw in the Snyder Cut between Deathstroke and Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The fact that the original scene was Lex Luthor having sicking Deathstroke on Batman.
Yeah.
Instead
and that would make sense. But
can I ask a question?
Of course.
Always.
So, since Ed brought up a very good point that we're pretty much locked into Brooding Man, right? In the corner. And so I was wondering, is there any possibility that we could ever get just a different movie, like a fun Batman movie?
No, you have to go back to 1967 to see the 90-minute long Batman the movie.
I have to say that there was such a backlash after the 60s, and I love the 60s Batman very much.
Well, it ruined the comic book. The comic book ended up being jokey.
Well, okay, to play devil's advocate, that started in the 50s.
You're right, because of the comic code.
Yeah, because of the comics code and stuff. Yeah, so that was around beforehand, although the 60s and in Batman 66, that didn't help matters.
No.
And
I like Batman as my brooding. If I want light stuff, there's other characters I have for that. That I think that, when you are the child of murdered parents, I can't comprehend.
I'm sorry I laughed.
I'm sorry. I just
laughing at childhood trauma, Mark.
No, I'm laughing at Adam West. Yes.
I
see your point.
It doesn't fit in my mind. I mean, you can have some light moments, but when Frank Miller came out with his version of Batman, I was like, that's it.
See, I think Adam West.
I connect with that. I understand that. I feel that.
Yeah, I think Adam West had a mental break, and that's why he was so lighthearted, because he totally went one direction and lost it.
But you know what? It's actually great that we're bringing this up.
I was going to say, go for it.
It was great that we're bringing this up because there is some Batman news. The news on the Batman is that we're getting a sequel, but there was some other news not as cheerful. A couple of days ago from this recording, it was revealed that artist Neal Adams, who helped revolutionize Batman, passed away at age 80. This is I would say it's a big loss. The man's a legend. The man is just an absolute legend. I met him. I actually met him in real life.
Wow.
It was at my first trip to Florida SuperCon, the SuperCon where we met. I actually got to meet.
I was so busy I didn't get.
Yeah,
to
he
meet
did.
him.
He did a panel. It was him and his son did a panel. I don't know which of his sons. I forget which of his sons it was, but yeah, he and one of his sons did a panel. Nice guy, just absolute nicest guy. If you go to my Facebook, there is. I did do a little tribute to him.
Oh,
just huge. As Kevin Smith would say, huge bag of wind.
Yeah.
He did. It's like he and Denny O'Neil.
Yes.
Like we talk about what happened with Batman in the 50s and 60s, all the goofiness, Batman goes to Mars, Batman wears a rainbow costume, all that stuff.
They brought that back, didn't they? Bring back the rainbow, the multicolored costume.
Yes, they did. Yeah, and that was like around Final Crisis. That was a different story entirely. But he and Denny O'Neil revitalized. It was we mentioned Raish earlier.
Yeah.
Neal Adams helped create Raish.
Yeah.
Ra's.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, the Demon's Head. Yeah. The Demon's Head.
Let's say the Demon's Head.
The Demon's Head. Yeah, that guy. He helped create
grandfather.
He also
grandfather.
Well, he also did work. He did work on Marvel. He did work on Avengers. He was one of the artists during the period that included the Kree Skrull War.
Mm-hmm.
He was just. I mean, he made an impact. There's no doubt about it. He made an impact, and the world, the comics world, the world in general, is like less of a better place without him in it.
I actually met Neal about 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I don't know if I can do math today.
Yeah,
but he'd come to Reno for the Wizard Con that had come here, and he was so generous and wonderful with his time. And I don't know how long I was at his booth. I totally hogged his time, but I also did buy like 5 or 10 portraits that he had done, that he signed them all to us.
Yeah.
I still have my son. Someday I'll remember to give them to him, but right now they're hanging up in my walls. So I just one of the kindest guys I ever met from the comic book world. I put him right up there with Stan Lee, that he would talk to the fans. He would share stories with the fans. And he was so just generous with his time and his heart and his art. It's a huge vacuum.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Something else that he did that was one of my favorite comics, Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. The hard traveling heroes.
Yeah. All the social issues they confronted.
Yep.
And that was Denny O'Neil and Neal Adams.
Denny O'Neil and Adams. Yeah. And then we have the iconic moment where Green Arrow, the one that started it all, where Green Arrow calls out Green Lantern, and then this elderly man also calls him out. We also have, of course, the iconic story with the iconic cover, Roy Harper's Speedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your sidekick is a druggie.
Yep.
Yeah.
My sidekick is a druggie? Yeah. Yep.
We haven't had that much fun since the Osborn storyline in Spider-Man.
Oh, jeez. Yep. Oh, man.
Harry Osborn. Yeah.
Harry Osborn, which, of course, the
comic code.
I mean, the comic code, both stories.
Yeah.
The Harry Osborn story, and then the one with Speedy. The comic code was like, oh, heck no. And they're just like, no, we're trying to say that drugs are bad. Nope, you can't do it. But we're trying to say it has drugs. No. But we're trying to say drugs are bad. Nope, can't do it. And it's like, okay, fine, we'll just do it without you.
We'll
of course,
the comic code
jokes, jokes on the comics code, because both stories are now iconic. So it's like, see what happens when you're heavy-handed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it's like, oh man, and Marvel, Kree Skrull War.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Epic,
yeah, that was
epic.
I like that.
Epic before Epic was a thing.
Yeah.
Like
it was one of the first. It was like the first event comic.
It was the first event.
It was the first event.
Well, it was an event. It was an event comic, but without the. It was an event comic before like event comics.
Oh yeah,
were a thing. Like
it was Avengers.
All you needed to do was just keep buying Avengers.
Yeah.
But
and there's Captain Marvel.
There's Captain. There's Avengers with Captain Marvel guest starring. Going to like the freaking other side of the galaxy. To stop a war that has Earth in the middle. It is. Yeah. No. I mean, just all the, and then of course you have this epic ending with Rick Jones getting godlike powers and just throwing out images of all these Golden Age heroes. It's like, wow. Okay. Holy moly. It's like, dang, that's just awesome. But yeah, Neal Adams, man, rest in peace, dude. Yeah. Rest in peace, dude.
Yes.
And just the oh man, and I just and I'm thinking again about how George Perez is like, he's really ill, and how long we're gonna have him for. So it's like, dang, too many, just too many legends. We're losing too many legends.
People who definitely shaped our childhoods.
Yes.
And and are just such an influence.
And shaped Mark Who 42. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like Neal Adams and George Perez and Peter Cushing and
Neal. Oh man.
Yeah, it starts to get really upsetting if you start thinking about it too much.
Yeah. Now here's
I mean, I could start listing every person who did comics, science fiction, Doctor Who, everyone who died, and that would not be a fun list.
Well, and then
that
even
would not be fun.
Well, I mean, hell, even this someone who's a big influence on me, who's not really like a comic, superhero person, was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Dude, I idolize the man.
I shouldn't say that because our humor isn't based on. He was one of a kind.
Well, my humor.
Yes.
My humor. I try to.
I
don't.
Right.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think I can even like get close. But
nanu, folks.
That doesn't. It's not that I don't at least try. But yeah. But getting back to the main point. I know that.
Yeah.
Getting back to what we were. Getting back to Batman stuff. I know we're talking about villains to bring in. I know that I mentioned earlier about maybe creating Bruce Wayne, the identity, and then also I wouldn't mind seeing I would not mind seeing whatchamacallit. I would not mind seeing supporting characters like
Dick Grayson,
well, maybe not Dick Grayson,
Jason Todd,
maybe not them. Okay, maybe not the Robins yet.
Okay,
but started off with characters like Harvey Bullock, Renee Montoya.
that would be good. Lucius Fox.
Yes. I mean, they don't. Again, you don't have to.
Supporting cast that really ties in and supports Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm assuming in the sequel that Gordon will have raised himself from lieutenant to something else.
To captain,
Captain.
Who knows?
Or, if you think about it, they did need a new commissioner.
Yep. Yeah,
they did need a new commissioner.
It would be a heck of a promotion to go from lieutenant to commissioner.
He helped save Bella Real. So how do you know she's not going to promote him?
Well, there you go.
True.
There you go. And is it just me or is Bella Real a new character?
New character. I don't think. I don't think there's a character.
Yeah, I don't think. Which interesting.
I want to see
stuff we
more
can
of
do
her
with it.
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, definitely.
Because there was a character that really interested me, and I don't know. It just. They gave her very few lines, but she did them exceedingly well. And she sold it, you bought it.
No, and the fact that she was at the funeral for the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And her concern for for the mayor's family was genuine.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't just, well, I'm going to press the flesh. I mean, because after all, with all these cameras here, there's opportunity. Nope, she was like, okay, we have a grieving family. I'm going to go talk to the grieving family.
Hold on. Before she went to talk to the grieving family, she was trying to sell Bruce Wayne, and then she said, "Oh, I have to go." And it, in a way, are you sure it didn't sound like she was just making niceties for the sake of doing it? Because she was working during that funeral and then went to them, but she was working.
Well, here's the thing.
Working for a good reason.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like she wanted, because Vicky's got it, because she was working it because she wanted Bruce to help with the renewal, because she wanted to make an actual renewal. You know, she didn't just
everything was supposed to be. She wanted it to become.
Yeah. Okay.
Question. Since we brought up Robin not too long ago, I want to ask, because I've been thinking about this, and you guys brought up something that I thought of. You think Robin is a thing of the past now in the cinematic terms?
The youthful sidekick is kind of a odd thing. You know, people don't have wards anymore.
Yeah. I would say it's not okay. What I would say is it's not a thing of the past, but if you're gonna do the youthful sidekick type of angle, you need to figure something new with it.
Zac Efron as Nightwing. Done. We're done here.
Well, you know,
how old is Efron though?
Let me look.
Yeah.
Nightwing is a great character.
Yeah.
I love the way that it was created, it grew, it made sense.
Yeah.
And it's kind of always been fighting with the concept of, I don't want to be Batman. Damn it, I'm becoming Batman.
And I'm going to be
Batman.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not trying to.
Scene of Nightwing is fighting with the way that he was raised.
Yeah, no, and being like he is his own. The thing with Nightwing is, he basically at his best. I feel like Nightwing is what Nightwing is basically what what he's the best. I think he's like this great marriage. Of he's this perfect mix of Batman and something else. It's like how it's like how to do Batman without being brooding and manipulative. He learned at Bruce's feet and how to be an expert strategist. Now he is he's become the type of person that it's like, okay, he can be the master planner, but he's not going to be like trying to, trying to be like this sneaky guy that's manipulating a whole bunch of people.
He's definitely more out there, less in the shadows, less, less of definitely. Well, I can't even say he's less brooding, because there are some ways that he has been shown that he is, between animation and live action. Well, I don't know. Have we had anything in live action really?
Titans?
Not real. Yeah, Titans is the only thing.
Thank you. I was trying to think. I knew there was something.
He is brooding in there.
He is brooding in there.
Yeah.
Was is it Dick Grayson who did the F Batman?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Dick Grayson that did F Batman.
Or was it Jason?
I know somebody.
It was Dick Grayson.
I know that the thing.
It was Dick Grayson.
Okay,
it was totally Dick Grayson.
I just remember the previews, and he's like, F Batman. It's like, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm seeing the scene play in my head now. So yeah.
Oh, okay. It was Dick Grayson. So yeah. I mean, I do like in the comics, he is somebody who's trying to make his own way.
Yes.
Like trying to be his own man. I know that in one of the most recent storyline, he actually inherited money from Alfred Pennyworth.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
he actually when Alfred passed away, thanks to the events of Bane controlling the city. When he passed away, he left Dick Grayson with, he actually had a lot of money stored away.
Yeah.
And when that happened, it went to Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson is now trying to take his city of Bloodhaven.
Right.
And trying to like clean it up.
Yeah.
Which of course was mentioned in the Batman. I giggled a little bit when Catwoman talked about, maybe I'll go to Bloodhaven. I'm like, yes, you will.
Yep.
Yes, you will.
It's like, Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll go to Bloodhaven. It's kind of like I kind of think of like what was it? I think one of the Mummy movies. I think like the second Mummy movie had that character of the character of the brother. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Asia. There's no mummies in Asia, and then like there's like a little postscript that says he found mummies in Asia. It's like, yeah, Catwoman like, oh, I'll go to Bloodhaven. I should probably have a good, it's like I'll probably have a good time in Bloodhaven. Oh, something.
Eduardo has a thought.
Because
I just thought again because another thing, and you could even tie this in because I mentioned Wraith in the Court of Owls. You could even tie this in something that they've never adapted because and it's funny that this was supposed to be year 2. I have never seen, and I don't know, maybe it was in Gotham and I wasn't paying attention, but the character of the Reaper.
The
closest we've gotten to the Reaper is Phantasm from Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
But we've never actually had, the Reaper, the fact that there was a vigilante before Batman.
Right.
It would be interesting to pull that up, that there was a pre-Batman, it would be interesting bring that up. Bring that up, that like this isn't the first time Gotham is. And it's interesting because reading about the Reaper, it seems like while he's more vicious than Batman, while he is all about killing his opponents, there was actually Gotham was not a cesspool.
Yeah.
The corruption hadn't hit the cops yet, but with this going on, with the Reaper going around, Gotham was not a cesspool. It was as the police corruption came in and the and the Reaper retired, that all of a sudden we got the corruption. So right there you have the makings of something
that could be interesting.
Imagine because you could if you do a movie with the Court of Owls trying to create Wraith, then that's one of the things that they bring up, that it's like, this person was our before you, there was this person, you don't want to kill, you don't want to be that, but look at, the numbers don't lie.
So how do you, that's a tough one though, because that's such a dark storyline. That's darker than anything we've had before. Let's be honest.
Right.
That suddenly gets really difficult. Yes, we could have a truly rated R version of a Batman movie, but I don't know, because there's no humor to break that up with. There's no when it gets that dark and that scary and that murdery, just you need something. Otherwise, I don't know. That's a little rough. I can see that more in the comics. You can do it justice. I'm not sure I would really. I don't know how you would do that live action. That would be a tough one. Not saying it's a bad one. I'm just saying it's a tough one.
It might be possible live action. It's just it would be. There would have to be it would be a little difficult because of just a lot of the darkness involved. I mean, you do have a point. It would be pulled off. It would be possible to pull off. It's just difficult to pull off because of the darkness involved in it. But still,
and I kind of have to agree with Zion that a little humor. I'm thinking, because I've been thinking about what he said. When can we have some more humor in it? And Tim Burton did a nice job of having it be both humorous and have dark moments. That we could probably have a few laughs, even in a Dark Knight, even in a Brooding, because in real life there are happy moments.
Yeah.
In real life there are those moments where you're not miserable all the time, and one day someone makes you laugh. So that means he needs to get a girlfriend.
Get a girlfriend, and also again develop. Well, here's the thing: develop the Bruce Wayne side of things.
Yeah.
Because you could have a lot. Well, you could have Vicky Vale, Julie Madison, freaking.
He does have quite a few of them that
Andrea,
are in a couple.
Yeah, Andrea Beaumont.
He and Selina Kyle can go a little further.
Kyle.
That is true.
You could have Andrea Beaumont. You could bring her into the live action world. Oh geez, you could even have. You could try to have Jezebel Jet. Although, given the story behind her, I think
it needs to be somebody who it either needs to be like Selina Kyle, where she already fits into the action. We already see where she fits into this storyline, or it needs to be someone like the Vicky Vale, where it's sort of separate from the direct storyline. Because too often when you have that that direct storyline and they're part of it. Maybe they're part of it. Some of his girlfriends have got really rough backgrounds.
Yeah.
And if we want to give Bruce Wayne something separate from Batman, it might help for him to have one of his girlfriends that's really kind of separate from that Batman side of it. And that's just there for Bruce and not for Batman.
You know what I realized?
What, Zion?
All of this comes up to Batman could really, really use a good TV series.
Well, aren't they coming out with Gotham Knights? They're coming out with Gotham Knights.
Well, also, isn't
supposed to be dead? He's supposed to be dead in Gotham Knights.
Yeah. Well, because I was also going to say, I thought I heard that they were going to do like
a radio series.
Wasn't Bruce Timm or Paul Dini supposed to be doing something?
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be a new Batman Adventures.
There you
cartoon.
go. So there's that. There you go.
Well, like that's a cartoon. Like I'm talking about like live action.
Yeah,
like,
but
for some reason it like Batman is like a very odd anomaly because Superman gets his shows. He gets a Smallville. He gets his Lois and Clark. Blah blah this and that. We get to actually flesh out Superman and his entire time.
Zion, from what I understand, that DC Comics doesn't want a TV series to use Batman. They want to save him for movies since he does so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that, but at the cost of it, you lose development. Like you can only do so much. This movie proved it itself. You can only add so much in a 3-hour movie. Batman still feels somewhat underdeveloped in a 3-hour movie, which is actually kind of insane. Like if you just give Batman one season and then develop him from there, I promise you, like you get a whole stronger character. And like,
you'd also have high ratings for Batman television.
Yes. I just think it's weird that for example, right now we have Superman and Lois in its second season.
And then picked up for third.
Yeah. Unlike Legends Tomorrow and Batwoman.
Legends kills me that they didn't pick it up.
Yeah. But my thing is that good grief. I think that for me, what gets me is that so Superman's able to have his little TV show. But then you keep hearing reports of the executives at Warner Brothers not knowing what to do when it comes to Superman in film.
Right.
And basically just being like, well, we don't know what to do, and it's like you got stuff there.
Marvel is giving you the template right there. Just make Superman fun.
And DC, that's it. That's
the answer. Just make Superman fun. I have like Christopher Reeve's Superman, and just the sheer thought of him just flying across the tracks at like Mach speed just makes my kid self just get giddy.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like
there's nothing like that in A Man in Steel.
No, exactly.
And like that's what they're shooting for.
Instead of trying to make Superman, instead of trying to take the template of the Nolan movies and being like, and we can do this to Superman. It's like, no, you don't need to do that.
No, Superman should be lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay. Oh, and on that note, lighthearted and fun. Can I have final? We're going to end the show, but let's have final words from everybody. Let's go with Zion. Final word. Final
get
thought.
off the Batman train and please just get me my Superman movie. I've waited too long.
Vicky, final thoughts.
I give this movie an A-. I enjoyed it
me
very
too.
much.
Okay. All right.
Ed.
You know what? I would have to say B+.
Okay.
B+. The other thing is, Zion. I'm gonna pick from, I'm gonna pick up from what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have our Superman movie. Let's have, if you're gonna do Captain Marvel, go weird.
Yes.
Captain Marvel is all about going weird. Let's, weird and fun. And also, you know what? Same thing. When we have, we freaking have, oh man, what is it? We have, freaking Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Come on. That should be that does not need to be broody sci-fi.
No.
Just here's what you do. You look at Star Wars, look at all the X-Wing action. Remove the X-Wings and the TIE fighters, put in glowing green guys, glowing yellow guys, glowing red guys. There you go.
And we're done.
We're done.
Okay.
We're done. That's all. Exactly. And here's the thing. If you do a Green Lantern movie, you have to have Mogo.
Yes.
Come on. A planet-sized Green Lantern. A planet-sized Green Lantern. Come on. It's right there.
It is right there.
Come on. How many people? Come on. You can't tell me that if you see that on the big screen, you're going to be like, oh man, this is freaking awesome. DC. You can't tell me you wouldn't do that.
All right.
If you say you're not going to do that, you're a liar.
We're all
lie. Stop lying.
My final thought for the day. I am so glad we decided to review this movie because it made me get off my butt and actually watch the Batman. I thought it was very dark. I wasn't going to see it. We decided to review it. I watched it. I give it an A.
Wow. Nice.
I really, really, really like this movie. Better than the Ben Affleck movies. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan movies, I think I like those better, but the Batman was really good. I'm glad to have seen it. Okay, that's the end of our show here on the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today were Eduardo M. Freyre, Vicky Jakubowski, and Zion Quiros. We're going to take off now. Next time, we'll have more. I'm not going to let you know, but we're going to have a great show next time. Until then, so long here on markwho42.com, Geekcast Radio Network, Florida Geek Scene, and all around the interweb thingy. Bye, everyone.
I'm going to be a symbol of fear and a symbol of hope.
Thanks for listening to Mark Who 42's Universe with hosts Mark Baumgarten, Eduardo M. Freyre, Zion Quiros, and Vicky Jakubowski. This program was produced and directed by Mark Baumgarten. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please go to our Facebook page or email us at markwho42s.universe@gmail.com. You can listen to old shows at our website, markwho42.com, or even our YouTube page, markwho42. Mark Who 42's Universe, copyright 2022.